and that's a color of about 60.
Sandy Edwards is showing us what North Okanagan residents used to drink before the Duto Creek water treatment plant. It's not a pretty sight, but since the $30 million plant opened in Lavington in 2010, 15,000 homes and businesses in the area should now be noticing the difference in turbidity. The plant manager, our tour guide today, has a 25-year background in the pulp industry.
So the water comes in, and we've already added the chemicals. This is the flocculation point of the process. You can see all the particles floating around in there, and we've got the reaction to the end stage at this point. Your clean water is going off the bottom. We're floating all this stuff to the surface.
The yucky stuff on top is organics, or sludge, removed from the creek water. To better understand the original color of the water, one needs to see where it comes from. The Duto Creek watershed is about 25 kilometers up that way. From there, the water travels down into Harvey Lake Reservoir right here. This is the last stop before it hits the pipe. From here, it's about 1.5 kilometers of pipe to the water treatment plant.
We have a high color in this water. It's a low alkalinity source. We treat it with a dissolved air flotation system, so we're taking the color out. It'll typically come in around a 65 color, and we'll treat it down to a 3 color before we chlorinate. And the turbidity coming in is almost 10 right now. And we'll finish this product when you see the outfall, it's about 0.3 right now. 0.3 to 0.4. So that's what we finish the water at. If you were drinking this right now, you'd be on a boil water advisory.
Vernon's Gord Mallet thought it was a super tour of a complicated system.
Well, I have a bit of a chemistry background, but the number of processes is just staggering.
The chemicals are fairly expensive. Epiamine can be upwards of $60,000 a truck.
The plant pushes through under 10 million liters a day during the wintertime. Now that jumps up to 150 million liters a day during the summer months. The capacity here, 160 million liters a day.
If we have capacity, we got a number of options. We got a few wells we can turn on. We have Cal that we can try to increase to its capacity. After that, we end up into a drought management plan that we have, which means we have to put restrictions on.
The plant already runs flat out in the summer, but there is talk of separating irrigation users and having them use different sources.
If we get to the point where we have some of the separation down the road, then this plant can grow for the community in the future. So the demand can grow after that. It'll also allow us to maybe size that filter down a little smaller, and then we can add to the filter as it grows.
That filtration he's talking about is the Interior Health Authority requirement of Stage 2 or further filtration at Duto. The Greater Vernon Water Utility hopes to build a $20 million filtration plant on site that will further polish the water.
What does that mean for the customer?
You know, all the gastrointestinal issues that you have with Cryptosporidium and Giardia will disappear 100%. So now we're treating it to a very high level of quality water.
You hear these TV reports about the water crisis worldwide. And in terms of that, we're pretty lucky here. But we've got to keep improving the system. That was the message that the chap passed on.
You're okay with a few extra tax dollars to do that?
Oh, definitely. Water's number one. You know, oil's important in the world, but I think water's got to be number one.